He got up before 5 o'clock to drive into Tulsa today, so we appreciate him doing that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you all for having me here today. I understand 1 Million Cups is trying to give you a brief summary of what I do and not like the long-winded version I'm used to, so I'm going to condense a lot of stuff in a little bit of time for you. Like he said, I'm with the Oklahoma Department of Labor, and I'm with OSHA Consultation Division. It's similar to federal OSHA. Only thing different is we just help people get into compliance. Federal OSHA gives people fines. So I kind of think of us as the guys in the white cowboy hats, and they're in the black cowboy hats. So if you call us out, what we do, we help small businesses. We help entrepreneurs who don't have time or they don't have a safety professional to do safety at their facility, and they need to know what to do to be in compliance with OSHA standards. So we have safety consultants, we have industrial hygienists that can come out. We look at programs, we look at training, we look at inspections as far as walkthroughs, we look at equipment, machines, guarding, fire protection, electrical, paint booths, whatever it is out there that your employees are involved with or they may be exposed to. We look at those things to make sure that you're in compliance. I did bring some pamphlets, kind of a quick summary of what we do and some of the benefits. The main benefit, is if we come out, we're trained exactly like federal OSHA. We go to the same classes that they go to, except we're looking to how to get you in compliance other than how to cite you. So the benefit of that is, you're getting the same set of eyes just without the citations or the fines. Whenever we do come out, there is only one obligation. Since it is a free service, we get a grant from federal OSHA to do it each year. And with getting that grant, we're required to make sure that you correct anything that's not in compliance or doesn't meet an OSHA standard. So we're just looking to make sure that you meet the minimum requirements. So if we do find something, you do have to fix it. We'll walk you through, give you recommendations how to fix it, what to do. We've got sample templates for programs to give you. We'll help you write those programs. We'll even point you in the right direction to Career Tech to help you do the training. That's one of the benefits. We don't do training. We've partnered with Career Tech to say, okay, we find stuff that needs training, we're going to send it over to you all. The other benefit while you're working with consultation program, you're exempt from a federal OSHA inspection while you're trying to make an improvement. They see that as, you're trying to do the right thing, trying to get in compliance, so they're not going to waste their time on a company that's trying to do the right thing. If you need more time, we give extensions. Usually we do about 30 days to get started. After that, as long as you're making progress, we can keep extending your protection time to get you back into compliance. One of our key programs for companies, you may have the safety programs in place. You may have everything in compliance. We try to steer those people to the SHARP program. The SHARP program, it's a national recognized program. Every state in the U.S. who has a consultation program has also the SHARP program. SHARP stands for Safety and Health Achievement Recognition Program. And to get that, you have to exceed or excel just the minimum requirements of OSHA standards and show that your injury rates are low. According to the DART rate and your TRC rate, they're lower than the national average for your specific type of business. You have to show that you do at least the minimum requirements for training and then a little bit above and beyond. Have to have employee involvement, management leadership, and safety. And once you can show that, then we start looking at the SHARP program. And the SHARP program recognizes you for excellence in safety. And if you can get that, we exempt you from federal OSHA inspection, possibly up to 2 years for a federal program inspection. If they were to stop by, you can say you're SHARP certified, and you're going to be exempt from any kind of inspection. But that doesn't exempt you from all inspections. If you have a fatality, you have a severe injury, that's still going to be a possibility that they're going to do an inspection for sure if you have something serious happen. The other benefits that we have, we do have health consultants, and if we have to do any sampling, whether it's for noise or any kind of respiratory conditions, we do that for free. We use the same laboratories as federal OSHA does, so For a small business that doesn't have a safety professional or somebody on site doing safety all the time, it's a free service. It saves a lot of money. And also, if you do a full service, which that means, we do the programs, training, and a walkthrough, health or safety person comes out, we'll give you a $1,000 tax exemption to go along with that too. So it's a good thing to kind of promote small business, to get them in compliance and give you a little bit of a tax credit at the end too. So I think I summarized everything pretty good. Does anybody have any questions or anything about the SHARP program or consultation program? Yeah.
I guess how big does a company have to be to not be able to use you and to have to use federal? And then how small does a company have to be exempt from using OSHA, I guess?
Okay. So to use our service, as long as you have at least one employee, and you could have like thousands of employees, we want to help anybody who needs help. We won't deny anybody that. For the requirements of the SHARP program, there is a minimum or a maximum on that. The maximum that has for a SHARP award, you can't have more than 500 corporate wide. So if you have more than 500 corporate wide, we kind of steer you towards the VPP program, which is another OSHA protection program. But as long as you at least have one employee, we'll come out, we'll go through the whole gamut of programs, training, walkthrough inspections, everything. Yes?
How many employees do you guys have?
Here in the state, I have 5 safety consultants. We have experts in construction, oil and gas, general industry, manufacturing for safety. And then we have 2 industrial hygienists, and they go all over the state. We got 1 in Tulsa, 1 in Oklahoma City. So there's 7, 8 of us. Plus we have a couple admins and stuff too. It's kind of a small program, not a lot, but we provide, I think, a good free service, Did you have a question?
Well, he took part of my question, thank you. But where all are you located? Are you just in Oklahoma?
Oklahoma has its own program. If you go to OSHA.gov and look up OSHA Consultation, we have our own webpage, and there'll be a a map of the U.S., and you can click on any state, and it'll show you what office you can call to get in contact with, like Missouri, Nebraska, Florida, Kansas. They all have programs too. So if you have people going out of state, whether it's on a construction job or maybe they're building a facility somewhere else, or maybe doing service out of state at a site, we can come to a mobile site or a different location. But for our consultants, we had to stay in Oklahoma. If it goes outside the state lines, then it'd be another consultation program.
What are some of the primary concerns you have for new entrepreneurs in the OSHA compliance? What are their violations?
The most common stuff we see with with new entrepreneurs is usually they don't have anything. To start with, the most common thing you have to know is record keeping. OSHA requires that you provide record keeping for your employees if you have anything that's required to be recorded on your OSHA logs. So most of them, once they get to those 10 employee limit, anything over 10 employees, you have to start keeping your OSHA logs. And most people don't even know how to do that. And that's the simplest thing to do. Also, with the new electronic record keeping, that's a new challenge for a lot of employers too, is they're not doing their electronic record keeping like they're supposed to. In 2020, by March 2nd, you're supposed to submit your OSHA 300 days to OSHA.gov, and a lot of people are getting that confused with the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. Whenever they send out their letter, you have to submit your information to them, but now OSHA wants you to submit it to their website too. So that's a very, very common one everybody's missing out on right now. The other things that most people that are new is they don't have emergency action plans in place for their employees or fire extinguisher training. And a lot of times it's whenever we do the walkthroughs, machine guarding's not in place or electrical hazards. So record keeping, machine guarding, electrical, emergency action, fire protection, those are probably the biggest ones that they're missing out on.
Do you do your work invitation only, or do you drop in unexpectedly?
That's a good question. It's a good question. Federal OSHA, this is why we wear the white hats. We don't come out and do anything unless a company asks us to come out. And then while we're there, we only do whatever that company wants us to look at. If they say, hey, we want you to look at just emergency action plan today, that's all we're going to look at, and we'll help them with that. Then maybe they'll come back and have us out next month and say, hey, we want you to walk through this part of the shop and do a walkthrough. Because Federal OSHA, if they come out, they look at everything. And they want to, if they see something, then they'll go over here, and then they'll go over there and look at that. So one of our things is we don't want to overwhelm people too. We want to make sure that you're doing it right whenever we're out there to get you back into compliance, and not just, here's a bunch of things and go fix them. You know, we want to work with you to make sure that they're done right. And we can always come back out as a follow-up and make sure that those are correct too. But yeah.
As you walk through,
Mm-hmm.
Jason, and you saw something in Area 3 that you're not there to inspect, would you point that out?
Yeah, as a courtesy, for sure. I mean, we're there to help them and make them better, but, you know, we're still limited to their scope of the visit. But if we see something out of the corner of our eye, we're going to be like, you know, we need to look at that next time too, whenever you have us come back out, because that could be an issue. And we'll give them some recommendations on what to do for sure. So.
What's the normal time frame for a company when they start down this path to get their SHARP certification?
To get SHARP, you know, it varies. Some companies are, you know, we go out, they have everything in place, and like, man, we're going to give you a SHARP certificate after we get done. And some companies, you know, they don't have an idea of where safety is at their facility or what to do in safety. So usually, you know, we go out 1 year, kind of get them in compliance, and then we see how they perform throughout the year as far as their injuries, their training, their employee involvement, to see if they're ready for SHARP. And if they can show that they're ready by, you know, utilizing what we taught them, then we're going to go for the SHARP. And it may take a year, 2 years, 4 years. It's kind of different. Safety's kind of a fluid thing where sometimes people pick it up really fast, and sometimes it takes a little bit more of encouragement and mentoring before they actually develop that good safety culture. So, yes.
Are there different record-keeping requirements for a business that has all contractors versus all employees?
It's based upon record-keeping standards based upon actual amount of employees that you have. And then there's certain exemptions based upon your NICS code where some companies don't even have to keep OSHA logs. So, like I said earlier, the first criteria is, do you have more than 10 employees? Then you're going to have to keep OSHA logs, which is your 300, your 300A, and our 301, like accident reporting form. And you can download those off the OSHA.gov website. But there's an appendix in the record-keeping rules that lists certain industries by their NICS code that are exempt, kind of like pharmacies, doctor's offices, retail shops. Things that are low-hazard industries don't have to keep OSHA logs. But then there's a second part to the OSHA record keeping, and that's your fatalities, which those have to be reported within 8 hours, no matter what kind of business you're in. And then there's just severe injury, which just came out a couple of years ago. The severe injury reporting is if you like have an amputation, loss of an eye, or somebody's hospitalized. And you have to report that within 24 hours. And that applies to everybody as long as you have one employee. So those are some of the more serious, but those, you know, we don't want to have those at any time. Any other questions?
Are you able to share, Jason, any of the companies that you're working with and maybe some that's received the award?
Yeah. One of the things that we do whenever we do come out, if we're just doing a regular consultation, we sign a consultation agreement, but it's also a confidentiality agreement too, where we're not going to discuss what we found, what we saw with any company or with federal OSHA. That'd just be bad business. You know, we're out there to try to help you. So if we're just doing a regular consultation, everything's confidential, it's protected. After that, if you get the Sharp Award, then we're going to publicize it. That's a recognition we want everybody to know about. Our Department of Labor Commissioner, she comes out and presents the award along with the local mayor here. He's been at a couple of our Sharp Awards. We're getting ready to have one in Cook Shack coming up next month, September 19th. They're going to get a 2-year certificate for their commitment to safety and health and their excellence. So they do a great job out there. Also, Mid-America Door here in town. They're a multiple Sharp Award winner for several years now. Other than that, I can't really tell you who we work with unless they have a Sharp certificate. They're also posted on the website at OSHA.gov, and then we put them out in the OSHA newsletter too. So they get some recognition on that. But everything we do is confidential except for Sharp.
So if you get Sharp certified every 2 years, the company can have you come back and continue that,
Mm-hmm.
where they're basically exempt from OSHA for, as long as they're meeting all the guidelines.
Yeah, they're basically exempt. There's no reason for OSHA to come out if they're certified as a Sharp company because of their safety and health record. On their record keeping is going to be low, and also because we went out and certified that they have all the programs in place.
One less thing for OSHA to have to worry about.
Yeah, they have, what OSHA does, they have a lot of emphasis programs where they target companies. And one of the things that they're targeting now is companies with high incident rates. And y'all have asked questions about the record keeping. So that's how they're getting the rates with the high companies. They're making a site-specific target list based upon those high rates. And those are the companies that are going to get inspected. If they're, way over the national average, they're going to be targeted for that. There's also national emphasis programs on amputation. So they're looking at companies who have certain NICS codes, and if they're in machine and manufacturing, they're going to be on a higher priority list. There's also one for the machine guarding was one. Fall protection is another one. It's nationwide. If they see something from the road that's a fall protection hazard, they're required to stop and just inspect it. So there's a lot of things that they focus on. So if a company can get a Sharp certificate, it's not easy. It takes a lot of work and commitment to get to it, but they'll have that exemption, 2 years, and then get recertified another 2 years. We've had companies, that have had it for over 15 years now. And that's just because they know the program, they know what they're supposed to do, they have low incident rates. So why not award those companies, give them what they deserve and a little recognition and some exemptions. So.
And you all are trained through OSHA?
Yep.
You're certified through OSHA?
We get a grant, and what we do before we can even hire anybody, we have to send it to our regional office in Dallas for OSHA, and they look at their resume, they look at their experience, and they say, okay, this person has the background, we accept it. But that's just part of it. Once they get hired on, OSHA has a training institute in Chicago, and they have some other locations, but the main one's in Chicago, and that's where all the inspectors, where all the consultants go, and we train right there. We're required to take certain classes to get started before we can even go out in the field. There's an initial compliance class that we have to take and an on-site consultation class that we have to take. And then each year we're required to take at least one educational class up there and several webinars throughout the year just to make sure that we're all up to date on our training and experience and stuff.
Are you funded through just one grant, or are there several grants that you're funded through?
Just one. It's a good grant. OSHA really provides a substantial amount. They do a 90% funding, and then the state does a 10%. So as long as we can apply for that and get it, we've been getting it for several years, and we have audits where we're making sure that we're doing the right thing, spending the right money in the right places, and performing consultations in compliance with the way that they want to do it. So we get audited too, just to make sure we're doing the right thing. But it's a great program. I think last year we did a little over 525 companies. During that time, we removed, I think it was around 80-some thousand people from hazards. We also cited a little over 1,500 hazards that were serious. So if you do the math on that, the cost savings is enormous. It's in the millions and millions of dollars what we've done as far as removing people from hazards and keeping people from getting fines or citations. So that's kind of our, cost-benefit analysis. We're saving the state businesses quite a bit of money. And, we can't really put a number on how many people we've kept out of a hospital or kept from getting stitches or kept from having to stay home and not been able to work. So there's a lot of benefits out there that aren't seen, but they're pretty enormous if you put the numbers to the hazards and stuff. So
If you see a serious offense, are you able to shut them down, or you just say you need to fix it?
yeah, I mean, if we see something that's what would be considered an imminent danger, like if somebody's under a raised load, we remove it or abate it on site right then. We're like, hey, everybody needs to stop, or, but anything that we find that's not an imminent hazard, like it's it's on site, there's people exposed, we sit down with the company and say, okay, in the interim, until you can get this fixed, what kind of protection are you going to provide? Is there a way that you can cordon it off so it's not accessible? Is there additional training you can provide? Is there tools or equipment or a temporary guard that can be put up so you're not exposing people until you get it fixed permanently? So we want to, make sure they're in compliance, but most importantly, protect the people out there too. Any other questions? Y'all been a good group. You got a lot of questions. This is good. I did one in Miami last week at meeting Cubs, and they had a good crew too. But there was a lot of questions because a lot of people didn't know what OSHA consultation was. So if you need us, we're free. I brought some pamphlets up here. They're on the front. I also brought my card. We don't have to come out just to help you. You can call us, and we'll answer stuff over the phone. We want to help anybody that needs help, so feel free to ask us questions over the phone, email us questions, whatever you need us for. We're there to help you. So, thank you.
Jason, we really appreciate you coming up here today.
You bet.
And I really appreciate Jason and his department working with the career techs. That's what we're all about.
Mm-hmm.
So we appreciate that partnership.
You bet.
So,
Thank you.
With that for speaking, you get a
Oh.
1 million cup. I know you don't have one.
I don't. This is my first one.
You're kidding me.
No,
You're
no.
supposed to get one every time you talk.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
I
my
got
God.
got a metal one last
Yeah.
time. This is a ceramic.
Which one's better? Ponca City now?
Ponca
Yeah.
City.
City's got to be the best.
Yeah, that's right.
Right here. 1, 2, 3. Good, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Surprised.
Yeah, I got a metal one last time.
Yeah. Okay.